Excellent. Hello, everyone. For those who may not have seen my face before, my name is Emily. I'm a program coordinator with Dive for Ag. We're so excited that you are creating your own mini app in our Dive for Ag challenge. I do want to mention we have Professor Mike Bailey with us today that's going to be talking about 3D models. And these 3D models can be used in your app for a number of different things. They can be the base on which the app is built, or they can be one of the pins that you use to come off of your base. So today we will be following along in a spreadsheet, and I want to walk you through how to find that on the website. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here.
Let me unshare mine then. I think I have to unshare mine. Nope, you got it.
Perfect. Excellent.
Okay.
So everyone should be familiar with the Dive for Ag website here. So it's just diveforag@oregonstate.edu. And if you scroll down a little bit, there's the virtual challenge webpage. Scroll down more, we get to the webinar section, and we are March 7th at 5 p.m. Tinkercad and 3D modeling. So the link to the Zoom is here. This is where the recording will be, and this is also where the Tinkercad presentation is. So everything Mike is going to talk about today can be found in this packet. It will help you walk through the logins, and then I'm not going to spoil everything for you. He's going to talk to you about it. But with that, questions are always welcome in the Q&A section and afterwards. So afterwards, if you have questions that come up, please email us diveforag@oregonstate.edu, and we'll make sure we get those answered. But with that, I will hand it over to our computer science professor, Mike Bailey, who's going to walk us through creating 3D models.
Okay. Well, I am excited too, followed by a little bit of jealousy. Like, can I kind of sneak into this program without anybody noticing? I think Emily would notice, sorry. But this is very cool. And your VR challenge, everything is going to start with building a 3D model. And this is something that we do a lot, that a lot of people do. In fact, there are a lot of careers doing this. If you're an architect, you don't ever build anything without doing a computer model first. If you're a designer of cars or jet airplanes or toasters, you don't build any of those things without doing a computer graphic model of it as well. Medical imaging, 3D graphics all throughout, and art and animation. Artists and animators. You all go see Frozen. That's a computer graphics 3D modeled animated movie. So yes, this is cool stuff, and it's even cooler what you're getting to do with it. Okay, so as Emily said, my name is Mike Bailey, and I'm a professor in computer science at Oregon State. And the part of computer science I love the most is computer graphics, computers that draw pictures. I love it because you can live in a world that you design, is you can make things that nobody's ever thought of before. And if you've ever been frustrated by you've got this idea in your head and you're trying to get it out and show the world what it is, then 3D graphics is definitely for you. It will end up in your life somehow. Okay, so we are going to run a program called Tinkercad. We have notes, and Emily's got the notes on the Dive website. We have other things here at our Tinkercad page. Here's how to get to Tinkercad, and I'll walk you through the login things. You can create your own Tinkercad account if you want to. There are links to do that. If you do that, though, do not ever, ever, ever create computer accounts without your parents' help, okay? Without an adult's help. It is a weird world out there, and yeah, just don't do it. So we have an account for you, and I'll show you how to use it, how to get on. But it's mjb@engr.oregonstate.edu. That's the username, and password is Corvallis. Remember, there are 2 L's in Corvallis. Okay, but I'm going to show you what we're going to see in the slides, and then I'm going to get on and show you what we're going to see by really doing it. Okay. And so you're watching a video recording. And so this is an amazingly lengthy process to get onto Tinkercad. So feel free at any time to hit the pause button and slowly take it in. But the website you start by going to is www.tinkercad.com, spelled exactly the way it sounds. They change this splash picture all the time, so it may not look like that. But down at the bottom, there will be a button that says Start Tinkering. And yeah, you'll click on that button. Before we go to the next slide, I do want to do a shout out to Autodesk. Autodesk is the company that makes Tinkercad. It is a free package. You can use it anytime you want for whatever you want. Thank you, Autodesk, for doing this and for keeping it free. That's really generous of them. All right, so you click on that tinkering and you go to here. And it's got all these great colored buttons, and you are so tempted to press the colored buttons because they look cool. Don't. Don't click this blue one, even though it looks good. Don't click the green one. Don't click this blue one. Click this really ugly set of letters down here that says sign in. Couldn't you have given us a nice colored button? Okay, now the next screen you'll come to looks like this. Don't click on these top three buttons. You will see one that says personal accounts. Yes, click on that. Do not join Tinkercad unless you've got parents helping you create your own login. All right, but we're going to click on personal accounts. Next screen. How are we going to log in? We're going to log in using that email, that username with it that looks like an email. So click on the black button. And then finally, we will get to sign in. And if you're using our account, and I'd recommend you do, here's the login, same one that was shown before, mjb@engr.oregonstate.edu. Be sure you spell Oregon correctly. That's so embarrassing to get that wrong. And then when you click on next, it'll come up with the password. Type in Corvallis, all lowercase, two L's, not one, 72542. Okay. Then you come to this screen, which will probably look about like this. You're going to click on designs because you want to do Tinkercad designs of your own. When you click on that, you're going to get this, and there will be a button in the upper right corner that says add something new. That's what the plus sign means. Add something new. And click on that, and then it will give you a little pull down menu that says, what new thing do you want to do? Say 3D design. Okay, now we're to this. This blue plate is where you're going to do your designs. And Tinkercad, because it runs through a browser, it can run on pretty much anything. If you've got a desktop computer, it'll run. If you've got a laptop, it'll run. If you've got a tablet, it'll run. The only difference is the interface is different. That is, if you have a mouse, like a tablet or a desktop machine or a laptop, then you're going to use the mouse buttons, okay, to do these things. If you don't have a mouse, you're on a tablet, not a problem. You're going to do pretty much everything with your fingers, like you're going to touch and move this blue plate. Okay, so I'm going to get out of the slides here and I'm going to go do this. Stop, share. And here we are. And so I'm going to go to www.tinkercad.com, and I'm doing it slowly in case you're following along. Oh, good. They didn't change the look of the splash page in the last day, but it may change. Click on Start Tinkering down here, just like the notes say. Don't click on the very tempting colored buttons. Click on Sign In, Personal Accounts, Email or Username. And here's where we do at mjb@engr.oregonstate.edu. Next. Now we get to the bottom of that page, that slide, and the password is Corvallis 72542. It will not echo the password characters, which means type them very carefully, because if you don't, it won't help you. It'll just come back and say, nope, that wasn't it. Try again. And if it asks you, do you want to save something, say don't. Okay. And now, wow, it is really thinking. Usually it comes right up at the next screen. Well,
Did you
gosh,
spell Corvallis wrong, Mike?
gosh. No, because it would have come back immediately and said, well, no, it did. Oh, no. The username and password. Well, shoot. Oh, my gosh. 7252. This is so embarrassing because now it's on the video.
Forever.
Okay, Emily, $20 to delete that
Just gonna
30
edit that
seconds
out
of
again.
video. Oh gosh. See, if it echoed the characters in the password, you would know right away. All right. We want to do designs. That's over here. We want to click on Add New, plus New. And here comes that pop-up menu, 3D Design. And we're here. So if you're on a tablet, touch the blue plate and move your finger. I'm on a desktop machine, so I'm going to use the mouse. The right mouse button lets you do this. It lets you move around in 3D. If you're on a tablet, there are plus and minus signs over here, and those will let you zoom in and out if you touch them. If you've got a mouse, you can move that scroll wheel. You know, the middle thing acts like a button. It also acts like a wheel. If you use it as a wheel, you can zoom in and out. Okay. If you've got a mouse, you can also push down that middle button as a button and move left, right, up, and down. All right, so that's cool. Now, so far we've not designed anything. We've logged in. Well, at least some of us have. Okay, so over here are a bunch of basic shapes. Let's just grab one. I'm going to pick the red cube, push down with the left mouse button or your finger, and just drag it out here onto the blue plate. And this is one of the cool things about doing drawing in 3D is if I want to see what the backside of something looks like, I can go see what the backside of something looks like. It's much different than drawing on paper. When we drop this down, or if we go back and click on it, a whole bunch of dots show up. Let me move this to the center of the screen so we can see them. There are white dots in the corners, and that'll let me change multiple dimensions at the same time. There are black dots in the center of edges. That'll let me change just one dimension at a time. There are little arc arrows, and if you click on one, it will bring up a protractor, but it lets you rotate the object. And here's another arc arrow, and it'll let me tip the object. And here's the other arc arrow. It'll let me tip in the other direction. The only other thing here, well, there's a white dot on the top. It controls the height of the object. But then there's this black triangle, and that's how you can lift the object up off the floor. So if you want to put one thing on top of another thing, you just lift up the one thing, bring it over to the other thing. Now, how do you move left and right? You just grab the object and move left and right. Use the left mouse button if you've got a mouse. Use your finger if you're on a tablet. So moving left and right Yep, like that. And moving up is that black triangle. So now you're all set. You can bring out objects. You can change their sizes, change the way they're rotated, whatever you want. If you don't like the color, you just click up here in that red circle. It's a red circle because it's a red color. And oh, I like blue. There we go. Okay, so we can play with the color. Let's bring another object out. I'll bring out the cylinder. I'm doing this because it kind of matches what's being done in the notes. I'm going to overlap it. I'm going to make it taller. I'm going to maybe push it down a little bit. But I now have two objects. And two objects in our universe, in our real life, can't overlap. You know, you can't push your fist through the desk, but in computer graphics, you can. But if you ever want to say 3D print this, 3D printers know that objects can't overlap in the real world. So what do we do? Well, what we do is we click on both of them. And the easiest way is you draw a box. You see a kind of a faint box. You can also, if you're on a tablet, click on one with your finger and click on the other. But you click on them both. And up here, you see this icon up here? Kind of looks like a cylinder and a square joined together. That's the grouping icon. And so if I've selected two things and I say group, they are now the same thing. And they don't actually overlap in 3D anymore. It's an outer shell. So there is no material, there is no object inside here anymore. And if you move one, you move them both. If you change the color to multicolor, you can get the colors back, but it still is one object. Now, one of your biggest pals in Tinkercad is the undo button. If you've got a keyboard, you can hit Control Z, but here's the undo. It's this left arrow. So I'm going to undo and go back to when these were separate objects, because there's one other cool trick here. And the cool trick is I'm going to click on the cylinder and I'm going to click over here where the word says whole. And it does that. It's kind of I think of it as a ghost object. But what it is it's a negative object. So now if I click on both objects and I group them together, what does it mean to group with a negative object? Well, it means the negative object takes a big bite out of the positive object. And so you can combine all these interesting shapes together in any way you want. You can put holes through things, overlap a cylinder, or the holes doesn't even have to be a cylinder. Let's make the hole a big star or something. And we put the star through the object, make it a ghost object, group them together, and now you have a star hole. So anyway, you can play with that. And I'd really encourage you at this point to hit pause on the video and do some playing around by yourself. So I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to go back to the slides and share the slides. So if you want to experiment on your own, please do that. Just pause the video. Emily and I will just be quiet for a few seconds. We'll
I was
pretend.
I was like, I was designing, I was trying to make the cone face the other direction.
That's what the arc arrows do. The
Flip it
arc,
over.
if you
Okay.
want to kind of flip it so it
Yeah.
faces the other direction, use the arc arrows. Okay, well, at some point I'm going to call on you, Emily, to share your screen and show us now that you've revealed that you're actually
That I'm
designing
doing
something.
it.
Yeah, exactly. It's fun. It's fun.
It is a lot of
Computers are
fun.
at their very best when they help you be creative. Yeah, you can play games, you can shoot things up, you can do classroom exercises, but a computer program that lets you be creative and get ideas out of your head into the world where other people can see them. I think that is the absolute best use of a computer. Okay, yes, undo, your best friend ever. Yep, we've dragged, well, here we've dragged the object into the scene. Yep, we have all those white boxes on the corners, black boxes in the middle, the arc arrows, just like we talked about, this black triangle to lift it up off the plate. So if you wanted to say, put a cone roof onto the top of something, you would just lift the cone roof up. So all of that's there. Yep, click on the colored circle, you get colors. Combine them, overlap them. Here is the grouping button, which again, I think looks like a cylinder and a box grouped together. But when you click on that, or well, you have to click on both objects, or you can surround them with a box. But when you click on them, they join together. Okay. And they become one color. But if you go to colors and you click on this multicolor icon, they go back to their original colors, but they're still grouped. I think that's in some ways confusing. If they go back to their original colors, are they still grouped? Yes, they are. Yep, and here's, you click on whole, you make it a ghost object, you do the grouping again, and it takes a byte out of it, and you can do a lot of things. All right, here's something I'd like you to do now. When you start up Tinkercad, it gives your design a goofy name. I am Daring Magello Courcan. Who are you, Emily?
Smashing Walt Touring.
I like your name better, actually. But click on that and type in a different name, some variation on your name, because later on, we're going to want to come back and get your design, or you're going to want to come back and work on your design. And this way, you'll know it's you. So, yes, if I go out here in a week and I look for my design and all I see is something labeled Daring Magello Courcan, I'm really not going to know if that's me or not. So click there now, type in something that's a variation on your name. Doesn't have to be your full name, but something that's close. All right, these are standard built-in things for Tinkercad. Now, and we've got, well, you've got cones and you've got rooftops and you've got, well, this is a paraboloid. We don't care. Toruses, hearts, stars, all kinds of things. So you can play around with those. There's this cool thing called a scribble, and I'll show you that in a moment. There's another cool, we'll see that. There's another cool thing called 3D text. See down here, it says text. Okay. Well, if you drag that out, you get text. Well, who wants it to say text? If you click up here in this box, though, where it says text, just sweep over that, hit the backspace key, and type something new in. So I'm going to stop sharing this or the slides right now. And I'm going to go back to Tinkercad, which has been faithfully waiting for me right here. And I'm going to drag the scribble out. Actually, I'm going to get rid of this. If you want to get rid of something, click on it and click the trash can that's up here. Oh, today I'm Shiny Amur. Amur? Okay. I have two names, one name in the slides, one name on what I'm doing right now. Either way, okay, I'm going to click here and I'm just going to put in Mike B. Now I will be able to find my design, such as it is, in the future. All right, so click on the object, click on the trash can, boom, gone. You go, oh no, I didn't mean to do that. Just click on the undo, it comes right back. But I want it gone. All right, scribble. Scribble is different. It's not really a 3D object. It's sort of a, okay, Tinkercad, I'm ready to scribble now command. So we drag it there and immediately the screen changes to 2D. So what do we want to do? Well, okay. I am going to just scribble. Yeah, see, I'm designing a racetrack. Boop. And if I'm done, and this gives me a clue about what it's going to look like in 3D, but I click done and there's a done button. It's really small and it's in the lower right corner where it's hard to find. So don't be fooled. It's done and it's in the lower right corner. I click done and now I'm back to normal Tinkercad. See? And this is a real live 3D object. I can change its colors. I can combine it with other things. I can group it with other things. I can make a ghost object out of it and subtract that from other things. So it is a real live 3D object. You know, like the little white and black buttons mean exactly the same thing. So yeah, you can do that. I'm just going to move this out of the way. And the other thing we just talked about was text. Let's click on that. Let's drag it out here. And oh, I don't want the word text, but I click up here on the word text, backspace, 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 and this is now a normal 3D object. I can click on it and I can grab a corner and I can change the size. I can make it, oh, super tall. Kind of like a movie title. I can make it kind of short and I can combine it. So one of the things I think is fun with the text, especially if you're going to 3D print something, is let's make this block bigger. Let's lift this up. That's the black triangle. Let's move it over. I can move either one over. And I can push it down. So it's kind of partly submerged. Okay. I'm going to line it up this way. Typically, when you design in 3D, you're constantly changing your view. Okay, now I'm going to submerge it in there. I'm going to make it a hole. I'm going to also click on the block. I'm going to do a group. And I have made a little desk sign. And you think, oh, but it's going in. Let's make it come out. All right, we're just going to do some undos. And now, instead of making it a hole, I'm not going to make it a hole. And if I group them this way, there we go. Now you want to see something really fun? If you know you're going to 3D print someday, I can grab this text and I can grab the size button that's down here, this black button, and I can make it smaller and smaller and smaller. What if I go too small? Uh-oh, I've made it go backwards. Well, why would you ever want to make text go backwards? Because we do a little submerging, and I'm going to click both objects and I'm going to group them because now I've made a rubber stamp. That is, if I had an ink pad, I could go poop and go pump on a piece of paper and it would say Stendhal Cool. You know, if you've ever looked at rubber stamps, the lettering is backwards. It has to be. That's
We
why you're allowed to do that.
we had a question come in.
Oh,
Are you able to adjust the height of just half of an object?
the answer to that is no. Objects are whole, so you can only adjust them. However, what you can do is put two objects together. Like that. That was a great question, by the way. Get them real close. Well, I'll leave them apart so we can see. And now I can adjust the height of one without adjusting the height of the other. But then what I can do is I can move them together, maybe overlap them slightly, click them both, and do a group. So this looks exactly like what it would look like if you really could change the height of half of an object. Except what you've done is you've changed the height of two objects and then grouped them together.
So this is what would happen. I'm imagining someone wanting to, let's say, design their own cow. So they would take lots of small little objects and size them up to make a cow and then group them all together. Is that
Yes.
okay?
A cow might be well, okay, no, it's not overly ambitious. Well, okay, yeah, that's a great question, Emily. Um, a cow done with these basic shapes is kind of tough. There isn't much there that looks like a piece of a cow.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, with enough time and patience, you could. But if you click up here on basic shapes, and this is covered elsewhere or later on in the notes, but click there are a bunch of other things like, oh my gosh, we've been here in basic shapes, but creatures and characters are right here. Now, as I remember, there's no cows there, but there are other things like, well, whatever this is. Yeah, okay. Let's imagine that as a cow. There are chicken legs. Why there's chicken legs in Tinkercad, I have no clue. Except you can bring the chicken egg out and put legs in the bottom. But we go back up here and, well, there's things called design starters. Yeah, those are just interesting things you could start with that aren't the basic shapes. Vehicles and machines, well, cows don't come under that, but, well, I don't know. What's this? I still don't know what that is. Oh, it's
Wheels?
wheels. That's wheels. It's casters. Okay. But anyway, what I encourage you all to do is hit pause and start exploring what's down here. Okay. So, okay, we're going to be quiet for a moment while you get a chance to do that. You still won't find a cow. You will find sports equipment, though. That's kind of fun. You'll also find human body parts like skeletal parts. I don't know who did this, but it looks like if you were to 3D print them, these pieces here fit into sockets in some of the other pieces.
Oh, fun.
And so you could snap these together. I know. Yeah, I know it. At some point, I get going on Tinkercad, and really, it's almost like people have to come tell me to get off. Okay, you've got other things to do. Oh, now look down here. What do we have here? Oh, that's kind of fun. What about this thing? Oh, I was hoping that would be like a cow. Nope, I guess it's not. Okay. Oh, a snowman. There's fun. Okay. So, all right, we're going to be quiet for about 5 seconds. Okay, so hopefully you played around a little bit, but let me show you some of the other things. And these are also covered in the notes, but I've sort of abandoned the notes because that was such a good question a moment ago. Yeah, you've got the notes. You don't need me. Okay, so my favorite place in all of Tinkercad, given that there's not a cow, my favorite other place is down here, there's something called shape generators. And we'll click on that. And it takes a moment to come up and you can get more. But, and there's some called featured and there's some called all. We're going to do featured for right now. But I'm going to drag this out. What is that? Well, if you hover over it, it says fidget spinners. Wow, there's a fidget spinner. But here's why these are called shape generators. Let's say I took this 3-arm fidget spinner and I wanted to make it a 5-arm fidget spinner. Could you do that? Yes, you could. You'd have to do some subtracting with ghost objects to get rid of the 3. Then you'd have to do some clever modeling to make 5. But a shape generator means all these things over here have meaning. And so if I go down here, I see the words arm count and a little slider. And if I move that slider, well, now it looks more like a gear than a fidget spinner. But if I could get that slider to stop on 5 like that, I now have a 5-arm fidget spinner. Because what's happened is somebody wrote the equations, the math equations for a fidget spinner, and added them to Tinkercad. And so this now is a normal 3D object. We can group it with something, we can change its color, whatever we want. And we didn't have to spend hours designing it ourselves. So yeah, there's walls, there's wind turbines. If I go to the all button, there's also one I really like. I'm going to drag this thing out. What is this? It's the state of New York. Well, we don't want New York, but over here in the shape generator menu is, oh, look at this. I can pick Oregon. Yay, Oregon. And of course, we're going to make it tree colored. But I can do other things there. I could put my name there, make an Oregon nameplate. I could drill a hole in the top and make a necklace out of it. So you've got access to all the state outlines and country outlines as well. Here's Australia. Oh, I guess that is only Australia. All right, we'll go to some of the others. Go away, Australia. Oh, well. But there are others over here as well. And so if you just start dragging out these outlines, some of them will have um, little pull down menus that will let you pick which country you want. So you can do interesting things with those as well.
So
All
I
right.
think I think you just answered a question that I have, but can I share my screen real quick and we can
Absolutely.
okay.
Yes. Show me cool stuff, Emily.
I don't know how cool it is,
Oh,
but
wow.
I Dr. Moore and I were talking if I were to do an extension, I grew up raising dairy goats. So I would talk about the dairy goats that I had and some of the cheese recipes that I really loved to make. And so I wanted to make a trophy for the world's best cheese. But I want to bend the words around
Yes.
the trophy. And I think I found when you brought us over here to the shape generators, this
Yep.
curved text. So
That's
essentially,
it.
this is
That's
what I would use.
exactly,
Okay.
yes, you have it exactly right.
Okay.
That's what it's there for. And then you kind of change the bend and the height and the radius and all of that to match the thing you're trying to bend it around.
Okay.
Yeah,
Perfect.
that's it. What a great trophy. Now, if you were 3D printing this, we might as well throw in a little 3D printing lesson.
Mm-hmm.
This joint right here would be
Mm-hmm.
really weak. It would probably fall apart, snap right there the moment you took it off the 3D printer.
Mm,
Okay. So if you were doing this, you would probably want to push the star down lower onto the cone so that this area between, yeah, like that. So now there's a lot of area, a lot of plastic right there at that joint.
right.
But that's things you discover by having 3D printed objects fall apart.
And
But
what's
that's
really
pretty
neat
cool.
is a lot of libraries and schools have 3D printers. So if you are able to make these 3D designs, you can take them either to your school or to maybe a local community college or university, or I know the Corvallis Library has public 3D printers. So um, I just think it's a really neat skill to know.
Absolutely. And here at the Oregon State campus, we have 4 3D printers in the library for students to use. So if you were to come to the school here, you could be making your own designs and printing them over at the library,
Fantastic.
which is cool. All right. Well, I am so sort of out of out of sync with my own notes, but that's okay. Let's go back to the slides because I think we've pretty much covered everything that Emily and I had thought should be covered. So 3D
Yes.
text we talked about, type it up here. Yep, you can group it with a block and make a name sign. Yes, there's all these other things that you should explore, and shape generators are down here at the bottom. Yep, there's the fidget spinner. There's the arm count. And you can change like the width and the height and all of these sliders. And you can scroll down this little gray scroll bar. There's more of these things down below. Yep, there's states. No, we don't want New York. We want Oregon. Oh, okay. Yeah, we didn't talk about this. If you were doing 3D printing, you would click on the export button in the upper right corner, and it would let you export as STL or OBJ. STL is the file format that 3D printers use. So you would select that one, and then you give it the file name. OBJ is it's a file format for just representing 3D shapes. And I think this is what you're using in the rest of this program, right? When you do the VR, you're going to want to export your Tinkercad model as an OBJ.
Yes.
Okay. So
Yep.
that's how you do it. You go up to the export button and it lets you do either one of these, which is great because again, part of the fun of doing this is getting an eye out or an idea out of your head into a place you can show it to other people.
Absolutely. And we are doing a demonstration on Friday about essentially how to use the Explore Labs software where you'll be creating your mini app. And I encourage you to put a 3D model in, see if it works. If it doesn't, go back to Tinkercad, make some changes. And if you're having issues uploading it, contact us because we can work with Mike here and we can work with Time Looper, the company, and make sure that the 3D model you design gets into your app. So don't let the technology scare you. We'll
Right.
make it work.
So there's one more thing we didn't look at. And if you go down and fidget spinners, shape generators, go to featured collections. People are donating models. If you click on this that looks like a spacecraft, it is a spacecraft. These are models that's a Smithsonian institution in Washington, D.C. They scanned things out of their collection and making it available in Tinkercad. Like this is the Apollo 11 space capsule. This is Abraham Lincoln's death mask. Hmm, maybe not. Here's a woolly mammoth or a cow, depending on how you look at it, Emily. Okay, but anyway, this is worth looking at as well. So I did want to show you also where your designs end up. So yeah, okay, so we're going to go back and share Tinkercad. Here we go. Okay, you notice you've never saved your design. Like, shouldn't there be a save button somewhere? There isn't because Tinkercad is really smart and Autodesk has donated a ton of disk storage. Every time you do something, it pushes a copy of your design out to the cloud, out to cloud storage somewhere. Okay. And so if you go back, you click the back button in the browser, you will see this gallery. Okay. And oh, look, here's a design called Mike B because somebody cleverly got rid of the goofy name. And here's what it is. And if I say tinker this, I'm right back. Okay. And this is one of the advantages of you using our account is, you've got all your designs here. For all the designs for this program are now here all in the same place. So they're easy for you to get back to if you want to make changes, or easy if you want to get back to them in order to do an export as an OBJ file, which you're going to want to do at some point. Okay, that is everything that was in the notes. Any questions at this point by anybody?
I don't see any in the Q&A. I think my questions have been answered. This is, as always, so fun, Mike. Thank you for coming and
Do you
sharing
have a
your
do you have a cat?
expertise.
Do you have a
I
cat
do.
there?
It is almost
Oh,
6 p.m. and my cat is ready for me to be done working.
your cat is saying, "Well, feed me."
Yes, she's ready.
What is the cat's name?
This is Ellie.
Ellie. What a
Yep.
nice name for a
Yep.
cat.
She slept for the last 2 hours, so she is doing pretty good. I was hoping she'd sleep for the last 10 minutes, but alas, here she is.
Well, that's my favorite part of Zoom is getting to meet people's pets.
I agree.
Here's
Dr.
here's
Moore just got a new little kitten. Oh, there's yours. How
There's
cute.
one of mine. That's Zelda.
Oh, cute.
She is cute.
Good.
Mhm.
Okay, I don't see any Q&As questions coming in, so I think we might have everything. Just a quick reminder, if you do come up with questions, if you're watching this recording and you had questions we didn't answer, please email us. We are more than happy to help you. We want to make sure if you want a 3D model in your app, it will be in your app. So definitely reach out to us. Any last comments from you, Mike?
No, just have fun. This again, creativity is the best part of computer use.
Absolutely. And I will also echo, if you want to play around on Tinkercad after the challenge, you have the login information. You're welcome to create to your heart's content. It is there for as an outreach. So we want to make sure that you are exploring and scratching any computer science itches that you may have. So
We'll see you
thanks
when you
again.
we'll see you when you get to school here.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. Thanks again, Mike. And for our participant, let us know if you have questions, and we can't wait to see what you do. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Bye, Emily.
Bye, Mike.